And we're live.
But he also has like UTVs and stuff, right? You buzz around.
Oh, the best.
Yeah.
This crazy Raptor racing thing with a big roll cage. And then he's got this other one that was like a 4-person. I wish I knew the model. It went fast though. And and he drove us out. It's nighttime. We're all armed. And he drove us out in the middle of nowhere, hauling ass. He was going real fast, but you can't scare me in a vehicle. You just can't. I'm prepared for the wreck. I'm almost looking forward to it because I want to see what's coming. It looks fun to me, especially if there's a roll cage and a seatbelt. You can't scare me. And every time you can't. I want us to wreck. It'd be fun for me. So like he's trying to scare us, and I'm loving it. And on the way back, I'm like, can I drive? He's like, sure. I was like, all right. Let me know if I go too fast. I'm going so goddamn fast in this thing that it's like a gravel nighttime half-ass road. Mm-hmm. And I've never been down it before. Every turn, we're sliding into it. Every time we're going down hills, and I should be on the brakes because at the bottom there's a maneuver. No, I'm sliding into the maneuver. I'm doing my best to terrify them. And finally, about 5 minutes into this drive, as we like go over a hill and like through some bushes and shit, he's like, all right, that's probably good enough right there. Like, yes, I scared him. Yes, I got him. I felt like it was a real accomplishment because like I really like off-road driving and any kind of like aggressive driving at all. I really enjoy that. When I got to that, I think his name's Billy Baldwin, the like super truck driver. He drives those $1 million like desert racing trucks. Mm-hmm. Like when I got to ride with him on one of those jump tracks, and it's $1 million fucking truck, and he's like one of the best in the world at it. I love that shit. Like that thing.
Did you hang out with Dan Bilzerian that day? Do I have my trips mixed up?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that thing was cool. I like anything like that. And when I see that racing on TV, where is it motocross? What's it called? When the car, it's like
I want to call it Baja or Iron Man or like
all of those things. Yeah. In particular, I like the ones that look like they're in Europe or something. So there's like trees and stuff.
Rally racing, maybe.
Rally race. Yeah, I would love to do that. I want to do that so badly. It looks like so much adrenaline. The whole fuck. It looks like you're just like. Dude. Just fucking shifting gears and fucking sliding into corners and jumping shit and then rolling and rolling and rolling.
Like, I think of myself as kind of fearless at these things, but the stories you're telling, I don't think I could hang. I think I'd ask you to slow down too. And rally racing, that shit looks dangerous. Like they're on cliff edges and stuff. Like the Pikes Peak races. Have you seen that?
I don't like that. Now,
Holy
I don't want to go off a cliff.
Yeah.
I want to roll into some trees. That's how adventurous I am.
They both seem like terrible ideas.
See, I would never do. No. You'd be like, hey, we're gonna go risk our lives for fun for a minute, and I'd be like, no, it's fine. I'm gonna stay in the mansion and make up an elaborate backstory about myself to tell the help and have fun with that. And that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'll smoke a $20,000 cigar or whatever the hell he gives me as consolation.
I'd be setting up video for the interesting corners.
Do you get a little, like, I'm sure Kyle doesn't because you enjoy these risky things. I get like almost a feeling of like I'm better than you when I see someone who dies in like a very avoidable thing where they're like that guy recently who jumped out of the sky with no parachute and he basically just needed help getting to his target just in case with the guy being like falling right next to him. Like, you good? What? It's like, all right, see ya. And like they left. If that guy had died, like it's fucked up, but don't you feel a little bit like, yeah, I'm smarter than that guy. I'm better than that guy.
I make smarter decisions
on a certain level because
than him.
I would never do that. I would never jump out of a plane knowing that the ground is approaching.
No, that never occurs to me.
I like it when people who are really pushing boundaries like that succeed because when they fail, I feel like it retards the growth of that industry or that sport or just people who are getting into it. And in the space industry, that's happened a bunch of times where, we have an explosion, we lose a space shuttle, and then it's like, oh shit, no more missions for the next 4 years. And it's like, how far does that set us back? I'm not getting any younger here. I want to see some semblance of space travel happen eventually, right? I think we all do. Me probably more than others because I grew up with the Star Trek and just loving it so much, and the idea of leaving this planet and going into space and the infinite universe and all that it might hold and could hold is so fascinating and it seems so much more important than anything that's down here. Like
You know,
it seems so much
issue-
more
Just
important than
Talking
Donald
about
Trump.
Space, maybe, but I think it's in the same category as when you see one of those guys in like Thailand who's like looking an alligator in the face, like slapping it, being like, "I fucking dare you to move," and then he gets his head bit off.
Yeah.
I'm watching it like, "You asshole! I'm
sure.
better than you. I didn't have to do like it's that. It's
Yeah.
not like I enjoy seeing people fall from the sky and die. It's just when they do, I can't help that little visceral feeling of like, I would have never done that. That's a way to die that will not happen to me.
Yeah,
100% guarantee, unless I'm kidnapped and thrown from a plane, that will not happen.
Not that one in particular, because I could see myself doing that. Like that one to me seems like a calculated risk. It's like, I don't know much about how accurate you are when you jump out of a plane, but I bet that guy did. And he knew that he could hit that fucking net or he wouldn't have done it. And so it looks to us on the outside, people who don't jump out of planes and don't understand how accurate you can be just jumping out of a plane, that like, holy shit, it must have been like a 1 in 10 shot that he makes it.
He did not
but to
hit
him,
the center of that net, though. I assume he was going. He was close enough.
I mean, he didn't hit a bullseye, but I mean, pretty
He did
fucking
not.
good. That thing was about as big as like 4 houses or something. I don't know. It looked to me like it was maybe 15,000 square feet or something, 20,000 square feet. It didn't look big.
If he was on a parachute, he could have landed. If he was under a parachute, he could have landed on a frisbee, and he missed the middle by like 100 feet or something. Like I was just like, oh, I thought he'd nail it, but good enough.
Yeah, when they announced like the net thing as the fall started, I was like, oh man, this guy's trying to hit a postage stamp at the bottom of this fall. This is going to be crazy. And then you see the net, and it's like, how did... Like, it would have been harder to miss this. It's gigantic.
He was way up there when he started. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. He didn't jump from like, I don't know how high they normally jump, 4,000, 5,000 feet, whatever. He didn't do that. He had to have oxygen when he took off. That was one of the reasons why he had accompanying jumpers, is because he had to take off his oxygen mask and give it to them. You're not allowed to like just fucking throw something. That's a big no-no. And especially when the camera crews are there and you're setting some kind of world record, you know. So he's got to hand that thing off to somebody. You can't just let
Did
it
he
go.
have oxygen? I thought he jumped at 13,000 feet.
He had oxygen. I thought that he jumped from much, much higher, and that was why he had the oxygen. I could be wrong, though. I only watched him do it the one time.
Yeah.
I always thought that, I always had heard that like just the jump itself going that far could kill you even with that before the impact, like loss of oxygen or hard racing or just the speed you're going or some shit like that.
So the oxygen's thin up above like 30,000 feet, or well, it gets thinner the higher you go. And at some point you've got to have oxygen. When I think they call this halo jumps. We had a friend that did it, and he went hypoxic in the plane on the way down. So that could be a problem, but not from like normal jump distances that they do. And the human body has a terminal velocity, a maximum at which it can fall because of the air resistance, and it's like 150 miles an hour roughly. But our buddy that we had on a couple weeks ago was talking about jumping. He wears a heart rate monitor, and he says it goes up to like 160, 170 beats per minute when he's jumping, which is terrifying. And I remember thinking about that and watching this guy set this record, and he also had a heart rate monitor, but I think his was only up to about 130. And I remember like thinking like, he's not as scared as Richard Ryan is.
Yeah, I think that once there's no more air, you should either get inside something as you continue to ascend, or just avoid it. Just stay in places where there's air.
How do you feel How do you feel about deep sea exploration?
I think that if you have air strapped to your back, you're fine. But if there's some magical distance down there where air just can't be held by a container, like you shouldn't just be holding your breath going like another 20 feet. Like, no, just like, get out of there. That stresses me out more than anything.
I'd be more worried about wildlife as far as the deep sea goes.
Wildlife, really?
You think of that lassophobia, like fear.
You don't know what the fuck. I mean, you don't know what the fuck is down there. You know what I mean? Like that's their territory. You know,
there's some shit down there.
You're not going to go skydiving and like you're not really worried about like some fucking enormous like bird. You know what I mean?
That's not going to happen.